Good evening. You're listening live to the Extreme Movie Show. I'm your host, Rob, broadcasting to you, as always, from the Extreme Studios in the Pine Hills Palace, just west of Orlando, Florida. I have from the Great Midwest, RDV. And RDV tonight, we're continuing our martial arts theme because we've been sorely neglecting that as far as our channel. There's just so much to watch, right? So we're going with 1983's Project A, starring Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung. And we talked recently about some martial arts movies. Cynthia Rothrock, Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan, and some other guys. It's one of those situations where
Mhm.
this is a movie that seems kind of familiar, but until you start watching it, you realize, yeah, we haven't talked about it here. And we certainly haven't gone through everybody's catalog because we do go through a lot of different things, but it's about time we kind of got to this one here. Definitely has an 80s vibe to me. It was a first watch, or at least first remembering that I can see when I watched it. I don't recall anything at all, but Jackie looks kind of cute in a sailor boy outfit, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah. This is my third time. It's like my third time watching this movie. And when I first watched it, I watched it with English subtitles.
Hmm.
So now I was just like, so this is my first time watching it with the English dub. And English dub is like it's a little bit better. It's kind of the same. You still get the same movie. You still get Sammo Hung playing the kind of goofball like he is, the Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan actually took writing credits for this
Yep.
and actually wrote some of this. So that's why it's catered more to a Jackie Chan style. I believe Sammo also don't know he didn't direct it. I thought he did directing. No, he IMDb lists him as being a director along with Jackie Chan. Where you look at Wikipedia, it just says Jackie Chan did everything, and then Edward Tang helped co-write it with Jackie Chan.
Right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so the basic buzz plot for those who don't know familiar with this movie is it's during the turn of the 20th century, basically in the Hong Kong Navy is basically a bunch of idiots, and they're big into the laugh stock, by these bunch of pirates. The British Navy, or their British basically they're basically occupied at the time, and is upset. Jackie Chan wants to be quickly jump the ranks. His name is Dragon, is his character, so that was kind of funny.
Hmm.
Surgeon Dragon Ma, and he basically he's just trying to be a good sailor, good and along with Hamo, Sammo Hung, and then you also have Yuen Bao, who plays I believe it's his superior in the movie, and Yuen Bao, Yuen Bao is a guy that I never really paid attention to. I know he's been in his movie before, but until we watched Eastern Condors, and then we watched the other one,
Billionaires Express.
Express. I never really paid attention because I didn't recognize who this one was. But this guy actually was really a part of a lot of the films. So
Yes.
it's I'm watching this movie a whole new light now. I'm like, oh yeah, I know this guy is. This is cool. It's like
Hmm.
when you watch his movies, you watch this for you know Sammo Hung right away because his personality he's kind of like the cutesy little funny fat boy, the slight overweight guy,
Yep.
and that coward. And then you have Jackie Chan, who's supposed to be the main star, that's trying to get in over his head, But at the end, they defeat the pirates, and only after getting in a lot of hijinks throughout the city and stuff with the British actual navy and stuff. And like I said, it's a fun movie. It's a cute movie. Originally called Project A. It's also known as I believe is Young Tiger is another one it's called. And they decided to rename it to Jackie Chan's Project A to give it more of an American boost in
Well,
American
yeah,
cinema.
put his name to it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Let me
Because
ask you, where did you I mean it's on YouTube, not
yeah,
illegally or anything like that and
no,
all, but
no,
where
no,
did you
no.
get your print from, or did you own a copy already?
So I have access. I bought a long time ago. I bought the digital copy over on Voodoo, which is now
Gotcha.
Fandango at Home, or
Hmm.
I guess you call it. They merged. It was just so weird logging the Voodoo and just seeing a giant orange Fandango flag. You
Hmm.
know, uh, yeah. So that's the English dub version that I have. English subtitle obviously is on YouTube. But it's also available over on.
It's on Tubi, I believe.
I hadn't seen it. I didn't see it on Tubi. I saw it on Daily Motion. Is where I found this. I saw this there, so you can watch it for real quick.
It just went off of Tubi is what it is, because
Yeah.
I had a list of them. Hmm.
Oh yeah. Tubi was on. Yeah, Tubi had a lot of stuff. So I bet you it probably within the past couple months or so. Um, and then I think you can also, if you want to watch this movie, you can rent it for like $4 or $5 over on Amazon Prime. That's what I was told. I didn't click on the link, but that's what I when I looked up see where it's streaming. Yeah, it showed Amazon Prime was the first one.
Yeah, it's on a lot
And,
of the
and,
major ones too,
and I
Apple
don't know
TV and
if
such.
that's the English dub version or if that's just the regular Cantonese, spoken language. But
Well, I've
like,
told you many times with Jackie Chan, the comedy style. Okay, I get it. That's a shtick. I like when he
yeah,
has more of a serious, mean mug look on it. He's not the biggest guy in the world, maybe 5'9", 150. So
yeah,
let's say he's an average size individual, right? And obviously he's in incredible shape. What I really liked about this film was some of the stunts because I felt like the set pieces were good, and I think a part of it, and I don't know this for sure. Remember how we talked about it being kind of
yeah,
Hong Kong and turn of the century? Well,
yeah,
of course, things that were going on then. China was not a communist country at that point yet. Hong Kong was more like the capital and area, a very busy port. So I think a lot of the generic set pieces that you might see, whether it's a Golden Harvest or the Shaw Brothers and all that, you can kind of recycle them because in here, I was reminded of. Okay, we get the nice big fight at the beginning, but then there's a pause.
yes,
And later on, they're over in the hotel. And I thought, God, this is like Millionaires Express, where we have the hotel where they did a fight on the inside. Oh, I actually thought this one was a better fight, which I was like, oh, I'm surprised. That's not a knock on the other film. It's just some of the stunts in here in the hotel fight were a bit more intense. Like I commented about how in Millionaires Express, I forget the one guy's name, but there was a lot of jumping and from the hotels and bounding kind of
yes,
things. But also I mentioned how there was a scene or two where they're fighting on a stairwell where the guys like perpendicular to the handrails of the stairs and moving and stuff.
yep,
Here, there's a scene or two in here where Jackie's fighting a couple guys on it, and he's really getting his ass beaten. Another one where he gets kicked, and he kind of in one shot again the camera stays on him. He gets kicked, and it's shot from looking up the stairs, and he lands on the curved stairwell, I should say, the handrail, and slides down or whatever. I'm like, that's pretty badass. And then there's always
yep,
a nice little pause where most things are broken. There's like it's a chance for you to catch your breath before there's another wave where all the people come in. But there's
sure,
the fight where the guy has the stick and he's trying to like spear fishing. He's like spearing Jackie or like that, and Jackie kind of grabs it, but he takes him up, and it's such a fluid little shot. I was like, holy crap, this is the Jackie Chan that I think of and remember, where he like scoops him up like on a fork almost and like puts him into the ceiling or whatever. And of course, the stunt wise, he's holding it, and everything too.
yeah,
But I was like,
yeah,
that just looks pretty damn cool to me. I'm like, that's the stuff I've been missing. So when we've been watching some of these older ones, I'm like,
yep, yep.
there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you have basically the police force, which is run by Yuen Bao, and then there's the Marine Corps, the Marine Navy sub, which Jackie Chan's a part of. They hate each other. So the blue shirts, the white shirts,
And
and
it's
then
easy to tell them apart that way. It's
yeah,
simplistic,
yeah,
but it works.
yeah. The huge bar scene, and I love it. You talking about the huge sets. We
Yes.
talk. We go to like the in depth they go on this for these sound sets. The prop sets. Everything gets destroyed. We talked about in Millionaire Express at the end
Yes. Yes.
how everything is meant to be broken. That's what it's there for. That's like
The
when I
chairs
play a
are gonna
game.
be flipped and tumbled. So when you watch Rush Hour and you're like, oh my God, that's a really cool fight scene in the
Yeah,
whorehouse with the kick in the chair. And you're like, man,
and
that was
it's
nothing compared to what he was doing here.
and I love it because those huge fights, if you get like 30, 40 people just fighting in one room,
Yes.
and it's just like this chaos. It's like watching a Muppet show. On it's like expecting to see someone fly through the air, and I love that. And then of course, like he's trying to avoid getting caught by the we call it the Hong Kong police and stuff. He's being chased through the city, hiding stuff. He's just like you said, like those narrow little areas. When the doors opening up or windows opening up. I love when they have stuff like that, chase scenes. It's like I said, Sammo Hung just adds character. Like he adds he adds the comedy, he adds the laughs, but he's also proves that he can fight here too as well. Even though he put on a little more weight since Eastern Condors,
Mhm.
which I wasn't that long ago. I don't think Eastern Condors was. I think Eastern Condors was.
He's just big boned.
Yeah. Well. Actually, if you go look at Sammo Hung's IMDb, it says he's just like it's all muscle. He's like the kingpin in comic books. He looks fat, but he's actually got this. It's all muscle.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on how
Yeah,
it's really your
and
genetic profile.
he's like that Don Lee guy. you saw in Eternals, or we watched him in we call him Korea Chuck Norris. He was in Train to Busan.
Hmm.
You know, it's all muscle. You know, looks like he's overweight. He's like Samoa Joe. You know,
It's like we call them in basketball when you're kind of stout, you call him a wide body. He's a wide body. I mean,
uh,
seriously,
yeah, yeah,
because you're right. You see Sammo, and he's got the suit vest kind of thing going on or whatever, and you see him
yeah,
fight. And what's simplistic about it, but again effective, is you see him in some action, you see Jack in some action, so you know at some point they're going to meet. And then there's another big fight scene where they're like fighting in, together against a group of people through this small little town, and it's outside. It's not dark. There's no CGI. There's some nice teamwork. And another thing too that I'm impressed by. I probably shouldn't say impressed with Jackie Chan because I've seen it and I'm aware of it. Maybe a little bit more Sammo because I've seen a lot less of it. But
yeah,
forgetting the coordination of them working and fighting in sync, in a few spots, and then working as a tag team kind of thing. I can't tell that this is sped up in certain parts like you can in Bad Ed. It's like
yeah,
I
yeah,
always think of Goldfinger and Bond driving the car and smashing into the wall and all that stuff. Like how horrible that looks. And then here I'm like, I know he's fast. I know you can do camera edits to make things look better. I know they try to go as hard as they can, but still not slow down. And so that's why
yes,
you choose to film certain punches and stuff because filming for movies is different obviously than being in a tournament. And this is all it is. But I'm just like, man, it's just a click faster than what you see in the American stuff for the most part, especially when you get to the rush hours and everything, or even Rumble in the Bronx. And I'm like,
yes,
I don't know when he slows down. Somebody that's a hardcore Jackie and martial arts fan it'd be interesting to hear their take on it too. But I was impressed by both of them because Sammo, I haven't really seen him do too much. And the more I'm seeing him going, to your point, yeah, big boy, wide body, and but he's also explosive. He's not just throwing heavy haymakers, right? I mean, he's quick and explosive, and I like it.
and then especially you got the three of them going against the Pirates at the end. You know, the two rivals having to work together along with the Sammo Hung and they have to take out the pirates who are hiding inside this cove. You know,
Pirates.
very
That's
very
the name
much.
of a very popular or was mini golf chain down here in
Yeah,
Central Florida.
it kind of, like I said, you kind of getting like a Pirates of the Caribbean thing, vibe here a little bit. You know, with the pirates, or just a sense. The way everything's done, the pirates are kind of like some are idiots. You know, with the triple, and it works. I live it. If you're gonna have pirates, you're gonna have about the main bad guy who's smart, but the rest of them are idiots. I don't care what you're doing. If if you're in Treasure Island or whatever, it just fits that way because they're not educated men. They all they know to do is they loot, they drink, and they like women. That's literally what pirates. And everything in Hollywood you see them. So I love it when they stick to that. And of course you see Sammo Hung here try to blend in and be a pirate, and then Jackie Chan's like looking at him like, what are you doing? It's like I said, it was like I said, it was fun. And then, like you said, especially when you see Jackie Chan's just his humor. He's like he's trying to get caught, also trying not to get his hands hurt.
Hmm.
Just and yeah, Yuen Biao just playing the by the walls. The police officer. It's like we're superior to your navy. And he's like Jackie Chan's like, you just work together. Yeah,
Yeah, there's. I sometimes get impressed by the not necessarily the length of the fight, although I feel like it's a little bit longer,
yeah,
but more of the intensity of certain shots too. Like I was telling you about with some of the tumbling and all that.
yeah,
And I mentioned before that again, a simple formula where what you can do is you can mix things up and like have a certain kind of fight, and then the second one it's got to be a little bit different, right? And then the third
yeah,
one's got to be this. And it doesn't matter if it's a little bit goofy because when it's you got to have a little bit of a release to kind of catch your breath a bit, and
yeah,
then go on to the next fight. So there's a tempo to it. But I the sheer volume of stunts here, it's like it's building up to each one, and I'm like, God, it's so simple yet it's so effective. It doesn't have to be an award-winning type movie. It just has to be entertaining. It's colorful enough, and a period piece. You can have outfits in it. You definitely get that here. Lots of people wearing hats, bowler hats, top hats,
yeah.
pirate hats, whatever you want to call it. So again, it doesn't look like it's overly expensive as a movie. I
No,
don't really know the box office return. I'm sure it was a hit. I have heard of this, but the one thing that reminded me of was
yeah,
Back to the Future, 1985. There is a scene in here I was not expecting, and you've talked about before, at least on the American releases that we've seen, whether it was the 1985 cop movie he's in with, I forget the name of it, but the one where he falls in the mall through
Oh,
everything, the glass.
Police Story.
Police Story. Okay, he does a climbing thing here where they're fighting through the town, and then he's up on a clock tower, and you're like, holy crap! I mean, I love Back to the Future. In many ways, I think it's like the perfect film or ideal film.
But there's no string here. There's no wire.
That's my point. I'm watching it. He's on a clock. He's doing a flagpole thing, from the clock tower to this and that to try to get going, and you're like, holy shit! It's like just if you just watch it for the clips alone, you're like, that's great. But and so you're like, yeah, this is the scene where. But what's cool about watching these movies for the first time, if you don't know it, is you don't know that it's coming, and so you're like, oh, I kind of wasn't expecting that. It's not like today where everything's telegraphed, where the camera focuses on the flagpole, focuses on here, and it does it in the order that it's going to happen, and so subconsciously you're already primed for it and going, yeah, okay, I can see that. Here they're fighting, and the crowd gets bigger and bigger. They realize they can't take them all on, and then they get separated, and he goes up the thing, and I'm like,
Yeah, like,
hey, shit, is he going to go up that? I'm like, yeah, I've seen Jackie do all this stuff because you've mentioned it before with the outtakes. That was something that he was one of the first guys to do to show his stunts and failing at it.
I think it was Fearless Hyena. He was climbing up things,
Yeah.
And like I said, we saw it again in the other movie we did with him.
He's climbing it up.
Battlefield Brawl.
He's got the handcuffs on. I'm like, are you kidding me? that was a really. I was not expecting that. And the set piece at the end, the part you just were describing with the big fight with the pirate ship and all that, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's the thing about Jackie Chan. He's got hands like a gibbon. He's always climbing up something.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's what separates him from the Bruce Lee stuff. Because everybody wanted him to like, oh, he's the next Bruce Lee. I know he's not. He's Jackie Chan, and I like it. He doesn't just straight cookie cutter. Just be like, oh, I'm gonna be, Bruce Lee. No, there's only gonna be one of Bruce Lee, and I wouldn't want anybody to copy Bruce Lee, just like I don't want anybody to copy Jackie Chan.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess honestly, he's works for him doing the ballet dancing, as you call it, the choreography, which is what you talk about the choreography. It's like is interesting because Sammo Hung was apparently offered by George Lucas. George Lucas wanted him to basically to teach for the prequels, the Star Wars prequels. He wanted to teach people how to do the lightsaber dances, with lightsaber moves.
Martial arts, but use that as your prop.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I've never heard of this.
Yeah. George Lucas wanted to hire Sammo Hung to back in the early 2000s. They thought, hey, can you help me with this and do choreography? But he turned it down. That would have been something, right? But I did like the fact that Phantom S had that one guy that played Darth Maul.
Hey, not gonna lie, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, it would have been better. But I mean, I did appreciate what we had though for at least the first one. But anyway, no, so Jackie Chan's basically his character, Sammo Hung's character, they basically are the Navy, and the Coast Guard's being disbanded because they're incompetent, so they're being forced to join the police force. And that's what I said. And two rivals now, group guys hate each other, and now forced to work together as one unit. It is a recipe for disaster, and so it just adds more like and ups the ante, here too, especially to a guy who. Playing Jackie Chan, who wants to do the right thing, but no one let him do it. Because they said you're a novice. You're not that.
Yeah, you haven't earned the rep for
it. Right. It's like one of the big splendors they do though. I love though because I think it was the Coast Guard. He was part of the Navy. They thought that one of the guys, British guys, was smuggling rifles into town. And it turns out, no, he was just buying rifles for the gangsters so they could arm his men because they were short on guns.
Right.
So it caused a huge blunder and all that stuff. And Jackie Chan just basically had egg on his face. Like I said, it's a fun family friend. Well, it's family friendly. You can watch it. It's early Jackie Chan. Sammo Hung is great in this. Jackie Chan is Jackie Chan in this. If you're a fan of Jackie Chan, you're going to want to watch this movie. Like I said, it's rip-roaring adventure on the whole China coast. I mean, I've seen other movies that come out through China that focus around this time period. You get the people on the wires and stuff. This is that. This is all
Yeah, you're
stunt.
right.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you mentioned before, the fact that they can get away with doing stuff, and he has his own stunt team because he can't get
Yes.
insured here in America. So it's just a different in business cultures. But you mentioning the post credits where the credits are rolling and they're showing
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
outtakes where he's making mistakes. Something I had been thinking about with after watching this film, I wanted to bring up to you actually because I think it's something we haven't talked about before. But let's back up a segment. Let's talk about stunts. Obviously it's choreographed, so it's not a real fight, and that's fine. And I call it flippy floppy, and I think when he goes more American style, it's dumbed down more and more cutesy, which
Hmm.
I don't like. I prefer this, right? But take a look at some of the movies that when you think of stunts and stupid ass people, I'm thinking of like Jackass, super popular
Yeah.
for overtime
Hmm.
for a certain period of time. If you're willing to put your body through abuse and all that kind of stuff to whatever, okay. I don't necessarily think that's smart. It's really I don't my call. Obviously, those guys have done their thing and all that, but it makes me wonder, like, if people that would be willing to put the effort and pain into it that Jackie did, if they
Yeah.
took themselves a bit more seriously about it, because when you see Jackie doing it, I've never gotten the vibe that he was like, hey man, I'm just going to hot dog it. I'm going to show off in this and that. It's more of, I am an artist. I'm thinking of creative ways to put
Hmm.
in tumbling or, yeah. And one thing we never really said either, but we mentioned with Cynthia Rothrock being a forms master is that he usually has a weapon or something there. And yeah, he has different kinds of fights, but he has different kind of tumblings. We get the parkour, we get a climbing, we get a hanging, we get the different
Yeah.
bounding things. And I like that. So to me, if you don't know anything about Jackie Chan, I want to see what he's about. Obviously, I think Rush Hour films are great, but they're American films. This is a great just Jackie Chan film, period. Forgetting that it's not Hollywood and all that. I think it's a great introduction. You could watch it independently of the other ones we have, and that's not saying Sammo adds to it or takes anything away. But just since it's really a Jackie Chan film, is the way we look at it, and Sammo happens to be in it. And that's not a knock on Sammo, but Sammo's always been kind of that
Yep.
not sidekick, but he's just
Yeah.
different. So I don't want to make it sound
So
like he doesn't contribute a lot
so
because he certainly
yeah, the
does.
other thing if you would notice looking at our background here, we're listed the credits where it says Glenhard presents learn from production underneath the
Hmm.
Project A thing says it's starring Sammo Hung. They misspelled Sammo's name. I looked up, it is supposed to be Sammo. It's on IMDb and everything else. For whatever reason, they couldn't fit another M in there, so they shortened it for this whatever. But it's his name actually is Sammo Hung is his shortened name. It's like Sammo something like I forgot what his full name is. It's like it said. So I thought that was interesting too because I double checked. I was like, wait, did I misspell? No, so I thought that was kind of a goof. I was like, this is basically off of like the VHS cover and stuff.
Right.
So I worked with, and also I was looking up because while we're talking, I'm looking going back and forth looking Wikipedia and IMDb because obviously I can't remember everything. You brought up the clock scene, and I remember reading on there, so I went back and looked on there. The clock scene, he wanted to make it so realistic, so he's supposed to fall from it, you know,
Hmm.
and he held on as long as he could to make it look natural that he fell,
Yeah, like
instead
it
of
just
just,
slips. Yeah.
instead of just letting go, you know. Because he was nervous about, it's like I look real if I just let go. So I'm gonna wait till the point I cannot hold on and then let go. So that was kind of cool. This movie apparently it's usually paired up when they released it back on the 90s on DVD.
Hmm.
It was usually with a Super Cop or Rumble in the Box, And a lot of times you get you get either or. They never really released it by itself as much. Also, think about the titles that you get Police Story and Project A. I just learned about that too. About the reason why these titles they make titles vague because you didn't know what the movie's about.
Yes.
Because they felt like when they did Drunken Master, everybody knew what it was about. It was about him just being a drunk martial arts guy. Um, and they also did that. What did he do? The Eagle Eye or Snake and the Eagle Shadow was his other one. That's another one. That's another one I want to do one of these times. That's from this 1978. And so yeah, that's why they some of these weird names. Like I was wondering, like Project A is like that has nothing to do with actually the with the movie. But
It's I don't know everything that happens overseas, and I know there's some business parts of when you make a movie, and we had talked about Jackie starting off over there, and in the early '70s, and then being over here in the United States trying to make it big. He'd already been in Cannonball Run 1 or 2, whatever it was, with that one fight and some other stuff.
Yeah,
But now he seems like he's back there till he hits it big. So he's definitely put in the work. He's put in the effort. And obviously, you can't expect to break into the American market just because you broke into your home market. It doesn't work that way, right?
yeah,
And I think the time when he came up was really the golden age of it too, because we talked about the martial arts craze taking off from Vietnam and Korean War and people bringing it over in the 70s and they hitting it big, especially with the African American culture, and then of course military people, and how it blew up. From the late 70s, early 80s until it, around 85 or so. We always like to say around with Commando that's when everything turned to guns for the most part. So America was, to me,
yeah,
is just like 10 years behind, because I look at this and I go, it's, watching this is what I said. Is this his best film out of all the ones that I've seen? Because I like the Rush Hours. They're fine. They've got stuff in them that are good. They're slick. But I go back and I go, this kind of has all the same stuff.
yeah.
Except maybe really hot, sexy cop undercover, but I don't have to have that in a film. It's just a nice plus.
Rush Hours to me is like, it's like those are totally different breed of Jackie Chan movies compared
I
to his
agree.
early stuff.
Yeah, this is
And
one of
that's
his
why
best
and that's
movies.
why I always say like Rush Hour to me is kind of overrated. Like it's it's Jackie Chan with somebody other than Sammo Hung. It's the American version. They just throw American in there with him, and that's their new shtick they're going with, where you put them in the Golden Harvest films, put them in back in with Sammo Hung, and it's a totally different animal. It's a totally and I feel like it this as much. I know people love Rush Hour. I liked Rush Hour. I liked Rush Hour 2 and stuff. 3 was kind of iffy. I think 3's. This is where I get confused. The Rush Hour 1 or 2, where he's on the bamboo on the
I
side of the
believe
building.
that's 2.
I think that's 2.
I prefer that one over Rush Hour 1, but you
Yeah,
almost forget Rush Hour 1 because you just think of how they
yeah,
just amped it up a little bit for Rush Hour 2.
yeah. So I those are like they're fun films, but like I said they're not anything like his 80s, early 90s stuff like Super Cop. Is another one I love. Rumble in the Bronx, even though it's is kind of a it's okay a movie. It is. It's not. I don't
It's like
know.
it's safe to me.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
don't.
didn't want to do anything wrong. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. It's like I used to love it a lot more, and then when I started watching these older Hong Kong cinema stuff, as like where it's in normal speed, I was like, oh man, I was like, now I wish Rumble in the Bronx was faster. Can we speed that up or do some more dangerous stuff? I would have loved for him to just do, okay, we have Rumble in the Bronx here, but we're gonna do the Hong Kong version where I'm gonna do what Stunts I want to do. I'm gonna redo it. Change the story a little bit, but this is the Golden Harvest. Rumble in the Bronx, but yeah. So this movie, along with the police stories, are on. These are my favorite Jackie Chan time. Just be fan, just watch his movies, his early
Mhm.
stuff, going from Drunken Master all the way through here. You know, and and I believe Super Cop is the one who he teams up with Michelle Yeoh.
Well, we always like, we call them girls with guns,
Yeah,
but just the
yeah,
action female stuff,
yeah,
her, Cynthia Rothrock, a few others. But
yeah,
it's interesting because now that we've talked about a few older films, not just Jackie, but others, I have a bit more of appreciation because I always told you that, yeah, Jackie's okay, but I wish he wasn't as goofy. And here we have something where, yeah, there's some comedy, but thankfully Sammo can take that
yeah,
bullet.
yeah, yeah.
But let me ask you this. Let's think of the Rush Hour films, right? And nobody thinks of the third one. They just don't because
I can't remember
they
what it
were
was.
because it was in Paris, and I think it was an 80-minute film. Seriously, I'm not joking. And I
Oh,
think Chris Tucker got 20 million for it, and that's why they didn't make it because he held out till the studio gave it to him. And I guess Jackie was
yeah.
like, "Well, if the studio's paying him 20 million, fuck it, we'll do it, and then I'll just go back and make my shit." So I don't know if they'll ever do a four, but here's the thing: what if you took the first two Rush Hour movies and you had Sammo Hung in them?
Like I said, I put Sammo Hung in there in front of Chris Tucker. Oh my gosh, the movie would be so much better. Now I'll probably get flack from people who are like, "Well, Chris Tucker was really amazing." I'm like, he was annoying. He stole the limelight away from and actually him just being there doing the comedy stuff, and then Jackie Chan shows him up in every single scene. Was like, okay, we're gonna showcase Jackie Chan, but at the same point, it's like I'd be in Jackie Chan, I'm embarrassed. because I'm, a martial artist. I like to, I'm respecting, as far as where I come from, the certain type of movies. Now I got to work with an American, a loudmouth American. Like, say what you want about Jackie Chan, Communist Party, and all that crap. Uh, Phenomenal acting, and just stunts he does. Rush Hour. The best parts about those movies was the stunts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
One final question here as we're kind of getting towards the end,
yeah.
wrapping things up. Did you ever watch the show that he did here for a season or two, whatever it was called, Martial Law or whatever it was?
I remember watching it as a kid. I can't tell you exactly much more about it other than he uses basically put on a lot more weight. And this is like 92, 91 or something, or early 90s. And Sammo Hung was speaking English. I remember that. I was just like, because I watched the movies when I was growing up, I didn't get no English dubs. Everything was subtitle. So it was interesting to see him like in a Hollywood setting, and it was just kind of like, okay, he kind of looked like he's I expected like in the show like to be him just like having a cup of coffee and a donut and just fighting guys, like this, kind of like an old guy, like an old retired police officer, and like having to come out of retirement. Like if they redid that show, I want Don Lee, I want Korean Chuck Norris to do it,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like they could probably make it better today.
One of the reasons, I'm not lying when I say this, one of the reasons why I never got a chance, actually there's two, one big one and one that's a minor annoyance, and I'll let you decide which one's which. But obviously Walker
Yeah.
Texas Ranger was super popular. I really didn't watch much of that, to be honest with you. I thought that, and even Don Johnson's show were just watered down versions of, say, Miami Vice or the solo Chuck Norris
Yeah.
films. And so when this came out, even though the guy who created it was the Lost guy, Carlton Cuse, that gets me interested in it. Whenever I saw Sammo, he was just a really nice, smiling kind of guy, middle-aged kind of, stomach and all that too. I mean, just like, he's not a bad-looking guy, but I just going, this guy's not an ass kicker, and I didn't really know. But the main thing that was a turnoff to me was it starred Arsenio Hall, who was known for being a sidekick in the 80s that somehow parlayed that into an interview show for a couple years in the early 90s. And it's like, why won't this guy die? And I don't hate Arsenio, but he was never funny to me. He was a friend of Eddie Murphy. He's not annoyingly bad like most like most late night guys are today, with the fake laughter and everything. I don't get it. So I was like,
So
I can't even give it a chance because Arsenio's in it, and he probably wasn't bad. That's what I'm saying. It probably wasn't bad.
you bring up Arsenio Hall. Only two things I remember him talking to Sheena Easton when she was hot back in the day. That interview, and then him taking over as Winston on the Real Ghostbusters cartoon, because the main actor, voice actor, passed away, so he took over.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so he or was it the other way around? I think he might have started off first in his popularity. I remember he voiced Winston. I thought, I was like, "Is Arsenio Hall?" As a kid, I didn't know that. And when I look back, I was like, dude, that actually was Arsenio Hall. I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've caught his show live, live back in the day. Like, I think it was like one time at least, part of it.
Yep.
I was young when it was on. I was born in 85, so that show probably went off the air by 92, 91.
Mhm.
It wasn't on there for long. Because I remember watching and remember it being better than Letterman.
Things were changing in the 90s with late night TV.
Yeah.
Once
But,
Carson went downhill, it all night went to hell.
But Arsenio Hall instead of Chris Tucker with Jackie Chan, that'd be
No.
interesting.
I don't know.
But actually, you know what I would have liked better? Wesley Snipes and Jackie Chan.
I would take my money. We got Blade, so it can't be all bad.
No.
All right, let's talk just briefly since we're wrapping things up. Project A, definitely a very good movie. I don't know if it's Jackie Chan's best, but it's on my short list of one of his best that I've seen, and I've
Fairly
seen
entertaining.
very good film.
Good
A
setting,
great introduction to who he
also.
is and what he's about, and Sammo, I would say.
Yeah. I was just introduction to him showing the clips at the end.
I don't know if it's the first film he did it. I really don't know.
Yeah, I have to look that up to see when it was his first movie where they started showing the.
I feel like it was done a little bit before that. This was 83, but I think it was done before that, or even before Cannonball Run. Because Cannonball Run, they did that, and I think he got that idea from Jackie. So this should be pre-1981.
Jackie Chan hated that film, but he was talked into doing it. He was gonna originally wasn't going to do it, but he was talked into it by someone, and so he did it. So, but he had like the best scene though, and then he does like at the end he just kind of he hurts himself in the groin after doing the kick in the air.
Yeah, the double.
I mean, like to me, that was that whole fight scene was the best part of Cannonball, with the bikers.
That's definitely a period piece. That's all I'll say.
that's the only period it's going to stay in because I'm not going to watch it again.
For people my age, growing up in the '80s, that was your introduction to Jackie Chan was Cannonball Run, and for you, it wasn't that. So
and the guy from Happy Gilmore, the guy gets a nail in his head.
Sunday. What do we have coming up?
Sunday. We are going to be going and talking about basically a show that's already been already came on, and it's been dropped all by Amazon, which is really weird. And so it's this Sunday. We were going to do it today, but we held out for Professor Pixel. We are going to be talking about Fallout, and as you said, the whole season. I think you said you only watched the first 2,
3.
Yeah,
halfway through, basically, almost
3,
8 episodes.
So far, only LK and I have been the only ones who've actually watched this all the way through, and I don't know. Maybe we'll be even. We might be lopsided as far as at the end. I don't know. This might be something towards the end you enjoy. It might be something towards the end you like, but also don't like, or it could be something you just totally just don't like at all. But the good thing about this show, and this we do with all the channels, we're on our Puppet Show when I talk about comic books, or we're here when we're talking about movies, we look for stuff that we do like. Because
exactly. We try to rise up if we can.
I mean,
it doesn't always happen.
It's so easy to say a movie sucks, and that's it. It's like I personally like looking for stuff in movies. That maybe, hey, this might be a movie. It's not really like a cup of tea, but I try to find stuff that I like in the movie.
Yeah,
it's challenging sometimes. Dude, I sat through all of Batwoman for reviews, TV series, and I at least found stuff in there that I liked. Which astounded me because if I hadn't to watch it, I'd be like, oh, that just looks horrible. But I just found an actress in there that actually was the better actress, and she was actually really cool. The one that played Alice. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the worst movie you can watch or show you watch, I challenge anybody like find something good in the worst and the thing you hate the most, or think you find the most hated movie you want. So if you watch a movie and you think this is the worst movie that's coming out you've ever seen, I challenge you to go back and try to find at least something you like, and don't say the credits. Because there's always like the story may suck, but sometimes you get good martial arts stuff, or it might be the story's good and martial arts suck, or it could be the fact that you like maybe this person and this person, how this person acts, or it could be the music, it could be the setting. Mm-hmm. I know there's not everybody likes Tomorrow Never Dies, but I love the motorcycle chase in there too.
Well, one of the things too here on Extreme Movie Show that with the newer people that have joined recently, I do kind of mention is I'm an 80s guy, you're a 90s guy. Professor Pixel, young 20-something, is the aughts guy or whatever. So I like to say we have basically 3 different generations of viewpoints and experience to draw upon. So it's interesting that, like, for example, before 7 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday, when we review all of season 1 of Fallout on Amazon Prime, here on Extreme TV, we'll be reviewing the 3rd episode of season 1 of Columbo, which is a show that's over 50 years old. We really are enjoying watching it. It's the first watch for me, believe it or not. So I know some people feel very strongly about it. And it's still interesting because, things are different. And what I remember from the 70s is obviously something you can't do because you weren't even born or been around. So your perspective will be different. And when we think of Jackie Chan, I think of Cannonball Run. You might think of Rumble in the Bronx. Professor Brooks will be like, that old guy in the Wild Wild West or whatever, and he may not even know it at all. So we try to talk about some of the things now that relate to other things that we've covered here on Extreme Movie Show. So I know you've been going back and realigning some of the playlists and everything else there too. I imagine this is going to go in the Jackie Chan file. Is that correct?
Oh, it's already in the Jackie Chan file already. Whenever I schedule something, I make sure that I go on YouTube and I put it in the playlist. So it's already over there. But this movie, because it features Sammo Hung, it's in the Sammo Hung playlist and the Jackie Chan
Well,
playlist.
there you go. It's a very good film. It's not something I'm necessarily going to rewatch, but I was impressed by how much better I thought it was than some of the other stuff, especially the American stuff I saw. This is, again, for me, I just I was surprised by it pleasantly, and I'm glad. And that's some of the fun of us picking out stuff, especially we haven't seen it before. Unfortunately, I'll be probably try to drink heavily and take some stuff because of what I've seen in Fallout. It's like a love-hate relationship with it. I'm not going to say anything at this point here, but I know we're geared up. I'm going to have all 8 episodes under my belt for next Sunday. Anything else you need to plug, sir, before we wrap it up?
I was just gonna say this for those who are questioning Fallout. If you want to watch it, Walter Goggins steals the show.
Agreed.
Yeah, and he has a dog, a German Shepherd.
Dog meat. Actually, that's one of my bitch fests is going to be about. I think they replaced it with the Belgian Malinois, or however you pronounce that too. It
Yeah,
doesn't look like a
yeah,
purebred shepherd, but it's the
yeah.
same thing they did in Purse of Interest.
Well,
It was a Belgian instead of a GSD. It's go
well,
figures.
I don't think they're purebred. I think they're lab made.
But and the point is in the
I know.
game, if you're familiar with it, and that's something we're going to talk about because
Yep.
again, it's difficult to discuss a TV show versus the IP. It's kind of related to some of the other stuff that we've talked about
Yep.
before. So it'll be interesting. It'll
And,
be a good discussion Sunday night when we talk Fallout.
yes, yes, yes. Fallout. You should always discuss the game because that's it's game first, and then having the being a TV show. And honestly, I am a fan of the games, but I'm also I like the show too. I like they take some liberties, but also kept some of the stuff in the games as well too. So, and if it gets a second season, expect to see more monsters, that you don't see in the first season. So, looking forward to that, and hope you guys had fun tonight, and everybody Wang Chunk tonight.
Good night now.
Later,
Good night,
guys.
everybody.